We have a new immigration crisis that's coming up because a COVID era policy is ending. I think it's called Title 42. So it's ending, and with that policy meant that it was easier to deport people, to send them back to prevent them from coming into the United States due to COVID restrictions. COVID's over, so now this policy is ending. So now everybody's bracing for this big wave of immigration to come to the United States. Well, here's an eye-opener for everybody. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. There's going to be an immigration crisis no matter what. It doesn't matter whether the president is Democrat or Republican, or the House or the Senate, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be an immigration crisis. And why is that? Well, basically it's because you have people that are fleeing from something. Now maybe they're fleeing economic turmoil in Latin America. Maybe they're fleeing persecution or security issues. But they're fleeing something. And we seem to think, well, you're going to get caught. You're going to get sent back, so why try? Well, probably because they look at the odds and they figure, well, I'll be the one that gets through. Me and my family will be the ones that get through. The other family, they'll get caught, but my family will get through. Because, fortunately or unfortunately, America has become the golden city on the hill. It's like the land of Oz. Everybody wants to come here because there's safety here. There's safety here. There's economic opportunity here. Basically everything we want America to be, America is. I mean, we have some pimples and some bruising and some bad spots, but I would say America is 90% of what it's supposed to be. And the other 10% sucks, but we're 90% there. So the immigrants who want to flee their country to come to this country, they see it. And they say, hey, I want to go to America because there's safety there or there's economic opportunity there. Which reminds me of a story someone once told me. And a phrase I heard on network TV by a network news anchor who said, well, this is the phrase that she said. She says, if it's safe on land, you don't put your child in the river. Right? And what does that mean? Well, if it's safe for me to stay in my country, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to leave for it's safe here. Which brings me to this story. Now, let's suppose you live in Texas. And Texas is something, it's been overrun by drug gangs and, it's in some parts of Texas or whatever. One night, you and your family go out to dinner. You're going to celebrate your son, who's going to be the first one in your family to go to college, let's say. You go to dinner, have a nice dinner, you're having a nice time, you come home, and you notice your door is unlocked. Like, I could have sworn I locked this door. You walk in, and there are members of the latest drug cartel, some ruthless bastards, that are in your house waiting for you to come home. You come home, they tell you, starting on Monday, your son's going to be working for us and our drug cartel. Oh, and by the way, your daughter's going to be working for us in one of our brothels. Okay, now, as a parent, what do? Do you say, oh, well, that's just too bad for us, I guess. Or do you pack up your family that night and make the trek to a neighboring state? What do? You get the hell out of there. What I'm trying to say is, as long as there's chaos in Latin America, these people are going to keep coming. There's no wall. Not unless you start shooting them at the border. They are not going to stop coming. It's just, we're the shining city on the hill. We've become what we aspire to be. America has become. They are going to keep coming no matter who's in the White House. Like I said, not unless you put armed troops on every inch of the border to stop them from coming in. That's the only way to stop them. So unless a government is willing to do that, then they're going to keep on coming. Now, we can do this two ways. We can throw them out violently, or we can try and show some compassion and return them to their home countries with some compassion. Obey the laws, you know, obey the law. The law says, hey, you got, boom, 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 this is that, and this is that. But we're going to return you to your country compassionately. And as far as, oh, well, this place is overcrowded, that place is overcrowded, why don't we reopen some of these military bases? House them there before we deport them. Show some compassion instead of being violent and separating families and being just hateful and mean. Let's show some compassion. Reopen some military bases, house these people in these bases, then you can deport them back to their countries. I think that's the ultimate fix here.